Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. And today is it's a great day because you're going to hear three voices on this podcast this week. Yay! The Bernstins are reunited. It feels so good.
I didn't agree to speak at all. I don't know what this third voice you're talking about
I'm just going to make noises.
And if you,
noises,
and if you hear
random boops and beeps.
And if you hear the fourth voice on this podcast, go get help because there's only three of us, and those are the voices in your head.
So it would be one voice in your head.
Well, there's probably more if you got one.
Well, then you would hear 4, 5, maybe 6 voices.
Yeah, your math is
why
off,
you gotta
CJ.
why you gotta spit on my cupcake?
Because your math is wrong.
Way wrong. It's off. Your math is off.
Way off.
You forgot how to math.
As a side note, I just have to know how Hollywood Babylon was live.
Many much fun. It was really enjoyable. The place in Philly, the punchline was very nice, very spacious. There wasn't a bad seat in the house. A lot of fun, good times. My brother likes to randomly speak to strangers at other tables, and I'm just trying to enjoy the show. So it was good. It was really good.
I'm bummed because I wrote an email asking for a shout out for you. It did not get read.
I was sitting there throughout the entire email shout out section going, shit, please don't read it. Please don't read it. Because I know CJ wrote in, and I know he tried to embarrass me. And luckily,
I'm a little bummed.
It wasn't good enough to make the show.
A little bummed it didn't make the show, for real.
I'm okay with it.
Of course you're okay.
I read Josh the email. It wasn't too embarrassing.
No, man, and it
good.
would have been Kevin Smith talking to you personally.
Yep.
I know.
That's why I'm bummed. I'm not bummed like, oh, Brian wasn't embarrassed in fucking public. It's like, there was this CJ tried to create an opportunity wherein you get to interact personally with Kevin Smith. That's pretty awesome.
It would have been awesome. It would have been. There's always next time. There will be other times, I'm sure. I do have just a couple things to talk about from your dual podcast.
Ah.
Just hang on. I wrote notes.
Oh God.
Let me pull these up here. There we go. Okay. So, are you ready? Can I go through this now?
Absolutely.
All right. So, I'm not going to go through the blockbuster movie by movie. We all know what movies I'm seeing. Clearly, I saw Thor. Clearly, I'm seeing Justice League. I do want to mention what CJ said about Coco. Because I actually got complaints about this, and it was the first thing I thought of as well, was that Coco was based off of some movie that nobody cared about. CJ?
Yes.
Once again, you're wrong.
No.
Yes, that movie is actually a really good movie. I've seen it. It's actually very well done.
Book of Life?
Book of Life.
Josh also said that no one saw that movie.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, you're both fucking wrong because
Look,
not only is
I've been made to watch it 10 times because
Tomatoes,
my kids. I don't like it.
There was a 77% user rating on Rotten Tomatoes, meaning people liked it and saw it and liked it. So
people sat their children in front of a television.
Yeah, that's what that
away.
means. It just means that a lot of kids went.
Right.
CJ, drink bleach.
Wow.
Also.
Wait, just in general, or
just in general, over that, and what I'm about to say next. How the fuck do you not know Daisy Ridley's name?
It escaped me for the moment.
Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley plays Rey.
My name
is also in Murder on the Orient Express.
My name is 2 letters long, so I mean, I'm surprised I even remember my own name.
I didn't know. I didn't know either.
It's Daisy Ridley.
Anyway, Josh gets to blame on some of these topics. How come I'm the one?
I'm blaming both of you, but I really am just mad at CJ. You guys nailed it as far as the Lion King cast. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it. You guys nailed it with Fast and Furious drama. No one gives a shit about Roman, so I don't care.
How are you gonna fight the Rock?
Don't care.
What kind of idiot are you?
You can't fight the Rock. I find it very odd that you were able to speak for like 13 minutes on a cheeseburger emoji. No one gives a fuck about it.
Come on now. That whole thing is ridiculous.
Don't care. Yeah, that's all I have. I think everything else you guys pretty much nailed correctly. And I'm ready for today's episode. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm excited.
You owe me some Shazam talk. So we'll see if that makes it into Cape Talk this week.
I am more than happy to talk about Shazam if you're going to talk about what I think you're going to talk about.
Oh, we'll see. All right.
Are you
Any
going
other
to talk about what I think
grievances
you're
before
going
we
to
go
talk
ahead
about?
and start before we start it?
Start what?
The show. Any other grievances you need to air? Anybody?
No, all
other
grievances aired.
Okay. I would like to start this episode with a advance warning. If you have not seen Stranger Things 2 or
Shame on you.
Thor
Shame
Ragnarok,
on you.
shame. And then
Twice.
go to the show
Shame.
notes, and I will have the
Shame.
timestamps for each of these conversations to avoid spoilers, because we're going to talk about these two things, because I want to get your guys' thoughts on what happened, and I want to start with Stranger Things 2.
The Spurlers.
So I want to start with Stranger Things 2. Very curious to just kind of get your hot take on this season and just what you thought about it. I want to start with Josh.
Better than the first. The adults weren't dog shit. The kids were still fantastic. Max is amazing. And overall, I mean, I watched it essentially in less than a day, so it was, pretty freaking great.
Brian?
I actually thought this season was worse than the first season. I liked it. I really enjoyed it, but I did not think it was as good. I mean, from a character standpoint, I thought it was fantastic. I thought a lot of the character development was really well done, especially in some of the relationships that formed throughout the season. But overall, story-wise, I wasn't overly impressed. You can tell that a lot of this season was closing a couple loops from the first season and setting up for like multiple seasons in the next couple years.
You don't think that the scale of the big bad that they fought, like it was far bigger?
Oh yeah, it was far bigger, but like nothing happened with it. It's clearly set up for this big bad to be something bigger in the next few seasons.
I agree with you, Brian, that I did not like this season as much as I did with season 1. And for me, it really had to do with there wasn't as much suspense and horror not horror, but I wasn't terrified.
There was plenty of horror.
Yeah, but I wasn't as scared as I was in the first couple seasons, and the first season I wasn't. I don't know. Something about it was a little off. I liked it. It's still better than like a ton of other shows that are currently available to you right now. So I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a great show, but following the first season is really hard. They did a good job with it. I think they could have done a lot worse. So I'm very happy that they made the choices that they made. I just prefer season 1 over season 2. Before we get too far into what our expectations are, I want to talk about though the controversial episode. The one that is splitting fans, and that is the one where 11 goes to Chicago.
You mean the thing that has nothing to do with what's actually happening in the season at all?
A lot of people, to me, I think it really ruined the narrative of the season, and it felt like they were slow. They just made a pilot for this cast of misfits, like the Runaways.
It most definitely felt like this is going to come up again in season 3 or season 4, but it felt so out of place. It didn't feel like I keep on reading reviews or interviews like, oh, it's integral to 11's growth and everything. I'm like, you could have done that without this episode. This episode was not needed for what 11 needs to do at the end. And Josh is like really breathing hard. So Josh, you go ahead and say, why I'm wrong.
Could Magneto have reached full potential without Charles Xavier?
That's not what this is.
It's exactly what this is.
No,
it's precisely what this is.
I don't feel that.
Her number 8 there, unlocked her full potential. Unlocked Elle's full potential. Which she could not have closed the gate without. Oh, but see that look Brian just gave me?
I disagree.
That's the go. God damn it, Josh! He's right.
I think you would have done it a different way. And it's the same thing that you get with a lot of superheroes, where hate, while it is powerful, more powerful is happy moments or just another way of thinking, not necessarily dwelling on hate. I mean, look at the Jedi if you want to look at those comparisons. I think Hopper hanging over this gate saying, think of all the people that are with you. Think about saving the boys. Think about, helping out everyone.
That's not what she thought about in that moment.
Right, exactly. But doing that moment would have given you the exact same result of closing the gate. And it would have been better, I think, coming from Hopper than some random person.
She needed someone with a shared experience. First of all, she's been alone in the world her entire life. Now she has a connection to her mother. She understands.
Right.
So contextually, that's important. And she has a connection to another human being who shares her experience. And that's important. These things are incredibly important in her character development. And that's why you can't go without that episode.
I don't know. I really feel like it ruined.
I just think you could have done it differently.
I agree. I think
I'm not saying you couldn't do it differently. I'm saying that you can't do this season without that episode.
Well, what we're saying is, why didn't you just write a better episode?
Things, but write a better episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't need a sneaky pilot. This is a way for you to say, do you think people will watch like a Runaways, but we have 8 who's leading this charge?
It's more like SLC Punk.
Yeah, and the fans are like, no, we don't want that. Don't do that again, please. And it's just a sneaky. I thought it was a sneaky way for Netflix to try to do a pilot without making a pilot. I didn't like it.
Fans are idiots.
At the end of the day, for me, I was like, oh, we did all this for a makeover. Fantastic. Like
the first 5 episodes of the first season, I was not on board, and it took the last 5 to get me on board, and this picked up about a year later, like a 1 week shy of a year later. I mean, it was awesome. It was very cool.
My other question then is, who is the MVP for this season? Who do you think was the standout?
That's hard because they all fucked up in their own way this season.
They did.
I'm going to go Harrington.
I was going to say Harrington.
Me too.
It's probably the person that I actually enjoyed watching the most.
Why is Steve a soccer mom now? Driving kids to dances
but not just
them. No, it was great. I liked the fact that it was a redemption from his last
taking Dustin under his wing, really forming this great friendship with Dustin.
Yep.
That was so okay. So Harrington or Bob Newby superhero.
Yeah.
One of those two. Awesome. Because look, if not for Bob, Sheriff Dumpster Fire's dead.
Yes, absolutely. Did anyone else think that Bob was going to be somehow bad? That he was?
Yes.
That is a huge. I thought that's what was happening the whole time.
When he was driving Will to school and telling him the story about the Mr. What's the Baldo?
I don't know, the clown. Yeah, Mr. Baldo.
Yeah. I thought, wow, why is he telling him to face this thing? He doesn't know what he's dealing with. And then I thought, man, is this like some sort of right? But then that quickly went away. Like it was very clear that Bob was he was a good dude. And now he gone.
He gone damn quick.
He gone.
I did like it. There was one headline, and I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this part. I read a headline that said, Stranger Things 1 was for me as a nerd. Stranger Things 2 was for the studio and for Egos. And I'm curious what you think about just some of the charm that made season 1 so good. And did it all carry over to season? It was just basically a ton of product placement. They're just saying like, whoa, the Steve going, it's finger licking good. And, all the Ego product placement. To me, I just think that's the way Netflix pays for this shit. Like, you want more of it?
All right.
Let them say 1 or 2 lines.
All right. I mean,
I disagree with them.
Also, I like the crazy lawyer guy, too. He was good.
Oh, Murray.
Yeah.
I love
Murray
him.
was good. But, okay, so I don't know, man. I mean, it just seemed
I disagree
like
with the article, so I'm just curious if you guys thought it was too much.
No, because I felt like there was no drop off in quality or story. I thought everything fit really well. I was very happy with the whole thing, start to finish. I watched it twice.
My last question is around Mad Max. What do we think about that character coming into the troop and just kind of hanging out with the team? I liked her a lot.
I think she's a good addition. I really liked her. I think she's she fits well with the other kids. I understand the need to introduce her and her brother because they wanted like her brother to be like an actual like human villain,
right. Like a human antagonist. Yeah.
And you know what? The entire time, like for the first 4 episodes, I'm like, all right, this guy looks like Zac Efron with a porn stash and a mullet.
That's what I said too.
But then like after like episode 3, I'm like, I know this guy. It took me like 4 to 5 episodes to realize he's in Power Rangers.
He's right. You didn't know that right away. He's Jason from Power Rangers.
He's the Red Ranger. I had no freaking clue.
Oh, dude, I knew it right
hated
away.
him so much.
He's going to
first I
show
thought it
Mrs.
was
Wheeler as Red Ranger.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
he's going to
what
show
it's
Mrs.
gonna do.
Wheeler exactly where his Zord is. Don't worry.
Right. Right.
And finally, just the standout moment. What was the moment to you that really kind of rocked this season and should really be the one that people pay attention to? What was your favorite moment for this season?
The entirety of episode 8. Episode 8 is where they're escaping from the Hawkins, right?
Right, yeah.
Rip Bob. Yeah, that episode was great.
For me, it was the dance. Because, again, this movie is
The snowball dance.
breaking some of the cliches,
Oh,
right?
you're such a softie.
It's wrapping up the tease where Mike asked her to the snowball dance. It's the fact that Eleven gets to experience just one bit of normalcy out of her life. You get Dustin getting a fantastic moment that, normal shows would have just said, oh, yeah, he gets confident, asks the girl out and they dance with him. And no, he gets rejected. Like, real life occurred there. I thought it was an extremely honest moment. And I thought it was a great way to leave our characters, and especially with the end, with the big looming danger in the background. So for me,
you know what? I want to change my answer.
Go ahead. What's your answer now?
It's not the snowball dance. It's the fight between Eleven and Hopper where she throws that tantrum.
Oh yeah,
That was a great scene.
Burns.
I think I'm not sure I can settle on one moment. So because Brian gave two, I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. When all the ruckus outside of the buyer's house turns out to be Elle, that's a holy shit moment. That was pretty great. But maybe even for probably like sitting on my sofa, like putting my hands up in the air was Jonathan hooking up with Nancy at the lawyer's house. I was very happy about that.
I have one follow up.
And the awkward breakfast that followed.
The pull out
great.
joke.
Yeah, how was the pullout?
How was the pullout?
The obvious improv when he drops the eggs.
Oops.
Yeah, so good. I do have a question though, Josh, from your criticism that you had of last season. I'm curious to see if they handled it better or if it's just more the same. And that was the Mike's dad, Mr. Wheeler.
No, he's still the worst dude ever.
You still think he's a terrible dumpster fire of hell?
Yeah, he's terrible.
The Wheeler parents are awful.
I do like the fact that he gets called out by Dustin. You don't fucking know anything.
Right. So useless.
It's so good. All right. So bottom line, all love Stranger Things 2.
Oh yeah,
Thought it was great. Did anybody watch the Beyond Stranger Things after show?
I did. Yes.
I thought it was really interesting. You learn a lot of insight. Definitely worth your time to check that out.
Totally.
All right. Any other final thoughts on Stranger Things?
Watch it.
Okay, so if you've skipped past the spoilers to Stranger Things 2, again, I don't know why. Please go watch it. It's amazing. And then after you watch the entire season, go check out the after show Beyond Stranger Things. It's definitely worth your time. Gives you a lot more in-depth analysis than we can do. And I want to now talk about Thor Ragnarok. So if you didn't see this for some reason, you can go to our show notes right there and you can skip ahead. But also go to a theater and go see it. I saw it twice. And Laura sent me a Facebook message going, the kid is back on the escalator again?
Yeah.
This movie's good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm very, very interested to hear what you guys have to think. And I want to start with Brian. I would love to hear your hot take on Thor Ragnarok.
I highly enjoyed it. It was most definitely the best Thor movie.
Nice.
Probably would be in my top 7 Marvel movies. Really good. A lot of fun, a lot of good comedy, really good story. I really liked Hela. I loved the villain in this movie. She was really well done. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. And honestly, like, it's been a long time since I was able to just have fun with Thor. So it was good.
Yeah, I thought this movie embraced the hokiness that is Thor and just the juxtaposition to him as many humans. I thought they did a great job with that. I also thought they did a good job of melding what worked from Guardians of the Galaxy and then just this director's own interpretation of this movie, putting it together into one.
Taiki Waititi.
Yes, and he played Krog, the blue rock dude.
Yes,
and it was very
standout star in that movie.
It was very clear that a lot of this movie had improv in it too. That the actors were allowed to kind of go off the rails a little bit, and I think it made the movie really, really, really good. And the action was fantastic. Josh, what was your hot take?
probably, I think I like it better than most Marvel movies. Like, it's probably top 4 for me. And it was awesome. Like, start to finish, it was awesome. It wasn't like you said, embrace the hokiness, and I think they managed to completely overcome it and forget embracing it. They went way beyond, and they started by completely dismissing the hokiness that is Asgard by having Loki impersonating Odin.
Yeah,
like super early.
Did we all?
That was great.
We all caught the Easter eggs or the tips of the hat in the play that went on, right?
Yes.
So saw
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, right? Do you know who was playing Thor?
His lesser known Hemsworth brother.
His lesser known Hemsworth brother.
Was it Luke Hemsworth or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's Luke Hemsworth. And then do you know who played Odin?
Sam Neill.
That's right.
Yes.
From Jurassic Park, yo.
Yes, I did my homework. I lost it at that scene. That scene was great.
Matt Damon had me cracking the hell up.
Yeah. It was nice to see Anthony Hopkins kind of like be a little jokey because
whimsical,
he's Loki in disguise. He's a little whimsical.
Yeah.
He's not all like dour and shit, which was cool. I mean, you could definitely tell whatever plans they had for this third movie, they completely shifted and pivoted, and it didn't. The movie didn't suffer because of it, which was really nice.
It was a million times better than the first 2 Thor movies, which are like at the bottom of the barrel.
Dude, Dark World is one of my least favorite Marvel movies. I like Ant-Man better than Dark World.
I like Ant-Man in general.
I like, all right, slightly better than Dark World. Not much, but yeah, all right.
I also am curious about the just real quick cameo of Doctor Strange, paid by...
that was very cool. That scene was very cool. I've been falling for 30 minutes.
Dude, that is the moment, both times, just got me. Just got me every single time.
It was really,
even though Tom Hiddleston
was fantastic.
He was wearing this terrible wig, though.
All the time.
Bothered the fuck out of me. But
I mean, it was a nice way to interconnect them so that when Doctor Strange shows up in Avengers, not everybody is like, who the hell are you? It'd be like Thor will be like, hey, I know that guy.
It's a friend from
He's
work.
a friend from work. Yes.
It's a friend from work.
My favorite part of this whole thing was how well they did the Hulk.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Mark Ruffalo actually got to voice Hulk this time. It wasn't Lou Ferrigno.
He did. And it still shows me we can't do a standalone. We can't do it. Like, I'm not there. But really, really, really good. And the relationship between him and the Valkyrie, that was very cool as well. I didn't have a complaint. Not a single one.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of anything that really bothered me about the movie. I thought it was a good Marvel villain, which are sometimes in short supply. I thought they did a really great job with her. I liked what Idris Elba's character was able to do too. The fact that he's not done, and I mean Jeff Goldblum was
Heimdall,
and Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster,
hilarious.
It was fantastic.
No, he was great.
And
he was great.
Why are you handing me the melty stick?
Oh no! I don't like that word. Okay, yes, the prisoners with jobs.
No.
Yeah.
The best moment, the best Jeff Goldblum moment in that movie for me was when he was just like, oh, on any other planet it'd be like 400 years old, but on Sakaar.
And he just smiles.
And he just gives that little smile, and you're like, what the hell?
No, Jeff Goldblum.
I think he said thousands. I think he said thousands of years old.
No, it was millions. I thought it was millions.
Something like that. Either way, it was good. It was really
Jeff
good.
Goldblum did a great job of taking the show, but I do have to say, Krog. I mean, he was the
was
little
it
break.
Krog or is it Korg?
Krog, Korg. I don't know.
Korg is Korg.
Korg.
That's a. PM.
Anyway, he was great. I love the fact he's talking in one scene, and then a little rock falls off. Because I don't think it's that, and it just carries on with the rest of the conversation. Everything about this movie, was fantastic, and I did like the fact that they had this relationship. Korg. I do like the fact that they had this relationship with Valkyrie, but it wasn't a beat your head over she's the romantic character.
No.
They didn't do that. By the way, Jenny hated Korg, but I absolutely loved it.
Korg was great, especially at the end when Thor's like, "Meek, what planet are you from?" He's like, "Oh, I've stepped on him. I've just been carrying him around all day because I feel really upset by it.
Oh, he's
like,
alive.
Oh, he's alive. Oh, what was your question again? So good. It was very well done. I loved it. Like there were so many like really like great moments. The get help moment was really great.
Yep.
Because it's following a really tender moment between Thor and Loki, where Thor's just like, listen, we were always going to end up here. You know, I grew up, you know, loving you and idolizing you, but you're not me. We're different people. By the way, we should do get help.
Right.
Like,
I don't want to do get help.
I don't want to do get help. I hate get help.
Right.
I will say that elevator scene though was a very important scene because it really was the most grounded and truthful they've probably been to each other in a long time. And I think it made Loki. I think it affected Loki a little bit, and I think maybe it can lead to some redemption for his character down the road. Because I mean, immediately after get help,
redemption once he gives Thanos the Tesseract, he's screwed.
Well, we'll see. But
I'm not sure about that. I think he's gonna have to play a pivotal role.
I think it's either make or break for him. I don't know if he makes it out of Infinity Wars alive if he's on the wrong side of this.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be.
He's been in so many movies.
I don't think you kill him off. Is what I'm saying. I think he has to play a pivotal role.
My question is the one character that I wasn't crazy about, but I completely understand how he was used, and I think they did a good job. Was Scourge? Yep. Scourge just he was the yes man that was put in place to replace Heimdall when Heimdall was exiled. Yeah, I do like the fact that
it was obvious.
Brian, I did a little research before I saw this movie.
Oh,
and I saw that Scourge had a storyline where he basically does redeem himself by shooting up a bunch of villains as a ship leaves full of innocent
much like
civilians.
the end of that movie.
Much like the end of the movie. So they were very true to that comment. And I like the redemption they gave him. I just kind of felt like, they could have done more with that
Did you like the sports reference?
Which one?
His guns from Texas are named Dez and Troy, which are one current and one former Dallas Cowboy football player.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on
that. Dez Bryant, Troy Aikman, Dez and Troy. When you say them together, it's destroy.
I don't necessarily think it was a sports reference.
It was a sports reference. It absolutely was a sports reference.
You take whatever you want.
He didn't say Des. He said Dez and Troy.
No, you're
My
right.
fucking 9-year-old is sitting there going, he's talking about the Cowboys. I'm like, I know, buddy. It's pretty cool, right? He's like, it's really cool that he said Dez and Troy and Texas.
All right, listen, if that's what you got out of it, that's good.
That's what everybody got out of it, CJ.
Nah, I didn't get out.
That's not what everybody got out of it.
Because what you got out of it was sports.
So what did you guys think about Valkyrie? Because to me, I think she's going to be a real interesting new member to the team going forward for Infinity Wars. I'm just curious kind of what you thought about what they did with that character.
I think she's more likely to go away or get killed off than anybody else.
No way. I don't think so.
Nope. Right. I disagree.
I liked her. I think Tessa Thompson's great in a lot of the movies that she's in. She is great. She's always good. So, I mean, I liked her. I like the way they did her backstory. I like, when she first shows up and she falls off the ramp because she's so drunk. Like, it was a nice little kind of redemption story arc for her, going back to, Asgard to redeem herself.
It's pretty badass. Yeah.
Again. Yep. It was good. Everything was good. I liked the relationship between her and Hulk.
Yep.
Which, is just this friendly relationship.
I think I know you from somewhere.
I think I know you from somewhere. And then and then when Bruce throws himself out of the plane and slams on the Rainbow Bridge, that was great too. All of it was good.
So good. This movie definitely up there in my at least I think top 10 of Marvel movies. I highly recommend it. And here's the other question I have. Never mind. Not necessarily. Definitely in the top 10. Any other final thoughts on Thor Ragnarok?
No, if you haven't seen it, and if you're still listening and you haven't seen it, you're definitely doing it wrong. But
absolutely.
If you haven't seen it, you're doing it wrong.
All right. That is the end of all of our spoiler conversations. So if you've skipped basically the first half of this show, welcome back. It's nice to have you here. And also, as Josh said, you're doing it wrong. Go see Stranger Things and Thor Ragnarok. So absolutely. it is now time to go ahead and take a look at what is happening in the world of movies. It is time for that kind of nerd to go screen to screen. And we are starting this week with what I feel is some fantastic news, and that is Universal's shared monster universe, the Dark Universe, has officially been put on hold. Huzzah! After one movie.
Hang on a second. Really?
Really?
Hold on, I'll call Ripley's.
This was the one that started with the mummy.
Ripley's, I've got some news for you. Ripley's, yes. No, you do believe it. You're not surprised at all that universe killed this universe after one shitty movie? Really?
Well,
so it can't be in your book. Damn it.
That's the Guinness book, not
Ripley's has a book too.
You're crossing streams. Don't cross the
I'll
streams.
cross whatever streams I want.
Was Dracula Untold supposed to be actually the initial start of this?
Yeah. No. Yes and no. Universal tried this shared universe before, and they were going to quietly try and do it and start with Dracula Untold.
Right.
And Dracula Untold was such a shitstorm at the box office. They said, let's not do that.
Right.
But then this time they said, you know what? We're going to tell everybody that we're doing a shared universe. And because we're doing this shared universe, people will go see The Mummy. And The Mummy did not do well at all. And then it started out with them saying, oh, well, we're going to delay Bride of Frankenstein because that was supposed to be next on their list.
Right.
And now it's just turned into, we're putting this on hold indefinitely.
Here's what they're doing instead, allegedly, according to some reports, is that they're just going to do individual movies of these monsters, which do deserve their own individual movies, but without putting them necessarily in a shared universe. So you can call it the Dark Saga or whatever you want to call it, but it's not going to be they're all connected and there's everybody, Tom Cruise going through 9 different movies. So this is fine. This is what needs to happen. I honestly think that unless you are Marvel or DC, universes and shared universes are not in your bag. Stop trying to do that.
No, you can do it. You just need to do it right. What Marvel mostly has done.
Right.
Correctly is that their movies, the draw is not the character. It's not the actor. It's the characters and the story. You go to see an Iron Man movie to see Iron Man, not necessarily see Robert Downey Jr. Now, Robert Downey Jr. has become big in his own right because of these movies. But
he is Iron Man.
Yes.
But that's the thing. When Iron Man 1 and 2 were coming out, people weren't plunking down money to see Robert Downey Jr. They were plunking down money to see Iron Man. Same thing with Thor. Same thing with Captain America. They didn't build their entire universe around a multi-million-dollar actor, which is what the Dark Universe did by automatically saying we're going to have Tom Cruise be the Mummy and Russell Crowe is in this. Oh, and by the way, we have Johnny Depp and Javier Bardem and all of these ridiculous actors. They kept on pushing the actors and not pushing the concept, and no one cared.
But that's the thing. This is the only other thing outside of Marvel and DC who has tried this. From my knowledge, right? The only ones tried to make a whole shared universe, not stories that are somewhat connected, but like everyone's going to be in everybody's movie. Like it's Universal, DC, and Marvel. It's the only three.
Yes.
So stop doing it. Only 2 studios can do it. Only one of them is doing it really well. The other one's really trying to fix it. Like, stop. It's about time. I think the universe idea should be just given up. I don't think it's worth anybody else's try. You can't do it. I'm sorry. You're not Marvel.
We'll tell that to Star Wars, I guess.
Well, but Star Wars isn't a universe. Star Wars is
what?
Star Wars is not a shared
universe. A bajillion people just screamed at you.
No. Star Wars is not a universe story. It's a sequel. It's one story being told over and over again.
It's most definitely a universe.
It's a total
what do you call Rogue One or the Clone Wars TV show or the Rebels
entire
TV
expanded
show?
universe?
Okay.
It's absolutely a universe.
Tell it to Star Trek. Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Retracted.
Good. Tell it
Retracted.
to fucking Pixar. Same thing.
Well, Pixar's that's a theory, sir.
It's a universe.
That is a theory. That is not an official stance from Pixar.
Brian, can I get a ruling on the Pixar universe?
I would still classify Pixar as a universe.
That's bullshit. It's literally a theory. We literally had a guy on this show who said it's a theory.
I know. It's literally
it's a theoretical universe,
Pixar
but it's a
has
universe.
even said this is not a shared universe. Like explicitly stated.
There's a lot of shared.
There's evidence to point to it, but it is technically not a shared universe.
It's a theoretical universe.
Theoretical. What are you, Stephen Hawking? Calm down. All right, listen.
I'm not
Since we're
too
speaking about Star Wars, there actually is some Star Wars news we definitely need to talk about.
Thank God.
Rian Johnson, who, by the way, Rian, Ryan, stop that. He is the writer and director of Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
You're gonna say to the guy that wrote and directed a Star Wars movie, you can't spell your name that way. You're saying it wrong.
No, it's Ryan.
You're saying it with a Y.
Jesus Christ. I walked right into that one. Anyway, he has been given creation. He has been given carte blanche to create his all-new Star Wars trilogy without the Skywalkers.
Sure, fine, good, let's do it.
My question is, how good is The Last Jedi going to be if you're like, hey, this guy's real good. Hey, do you just want to write 3 like completely...
I don't think it has anything to do with how good this movie's going to be, because let's face it, this movie's going to be great and it's going to bring in a ton of money.
Yep.
Right.
It has to do with the fact that this is, besides J.J. Abrams, one of the only directors and writers that have not given the studio a huge problem.
Well, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy, who is the president of Lucasfilm, said we all loved working with Ryan on The Last Jedi,
Right.
and his creative force is the reason that we're doing this.
That's the point, is that
Right.
we all loved working with him. We didn't love working with Lord and Miller. We didn't love working with Trevorrow or Colin Trevorrow or whatever the heck his name is.
Whatever.
But we loved working with Ryan. He doesn't want to rock our universe boat too much. So yeah, why not give him carte blanche? We already got JJ on episode 9.
You're saying I'm going to get at least three more Star Wars movies?
At least 3 more Star Wars movies that are completely separate from the Skywalker saga.
Sign me up.
Right? Now, here's my question. With all of the Star Wars source material out there, what would you like to see? I'm going to answer first, and I would like to see the Old Republic.
I would like to see a deep dive into the midichlorian theory.
I would also like to know about the international trade agreements between all of these galaxies. I just need to know.
I need a Jar Jar Binks trilogy.
Don't you
I honestly
fucking put
as
that out in the world.
possible.
This,
I
like
honestly
the
don't
Jungle
give a-
Gyms in the movie theaters, you shut your mouth and you do not put that into the world.
I don't care. You know how expansive the Star Wars universe is? There's so
Honestly,
many amazing stories.
I would honestly rather he do something completely new, create new characters, create new things
Fair enough.
from just set in this universe. I don't care if it takes place after this new trilogy, in between this new trilogy and the old trilogy, or way before. I don't care. This thing is so expansive.
like you get a reference that like some character enters stage right and goes, "You guys hear the fucked up shit that's happening on Tatooine?"
Yeah, like something like that. Like something new. Give me new characters, new things, new everything. I'm down with that.
Okay.
And I think he's the guy who can do it.
I do too. I think it's going to be exciting. There's obviously no release.
Also, I would just Jar Jar Binks, throw him in there. I'm good with that.
Don't.
There's some crazy dude just mowing down Tusken Raiders. Like, what's that about, huh? That's what I mean. Like, just give.
No, there's
give us,
again. There's so much, and I would like
give us a nod or two.
right? But not like a whole like, hey, everybody, did you see that? That's how you get dark universes. Okay. There's obviously no solid release date, nobody attached to it. Literally, it's just the fact that it was announced that right.
There should be no big name actors either.
I agree. Just like what we've been talking about with Titans, let's just stay with people who are just at least.
I was going more for what we saw with A New Hope. Like there was really
or Force Awakens. Yeah,
there's very little in there.
Yep. All right. The last bit of screen-to-screen conversation is I want to talk a little bit about Mosaic. We had talked about this a few weeks ago. This is the app-based television series produced by, I think it's Steven Soderbergh, and in collaboration
tell me more
with HBO.
About this.
So I asked my wife, who is much smarter and more eloquent than I am, to just kind of right, exactly, to just kind of head in and give me her take on the show, only because it's so interesting, and if it was my opinion, it would be dismissed. So this is my wife's perspective. You get to choose which perspective you get to watch the story from. So you can view a character a different way depending on the path that you choose. So you start off with one impression, and then you completely change it once you see it from their perspective. My impression is I really like the show, and I like the format of viewing it. I like that there is the option to go back and choose a different path, and that the story is presented to you in a different way. I think the plot could have been a little better, but overall, I am satisfied with the series. And that was the thing I liked about it.
She's wrong.
Did you watch it?
No, I just feel like dismissing her.
Okay, that sounds about right. So here's what I will say, Josh, to quench your fears too. It is right now on iOS, which
You gonna quench my fears, or you gonna quell them?
So that's true. I don't know. Maybe both. Maybe I'll give you some Gatorade. Maybe it happen. So Josh, I'm going to just calm you down a little bit, give you little facts to maybe ease you into possibly exploring this show.
I'm perfectly calm.
Okay, good. It is a iOS. Don't I
look calm?
You look beautiful. I mean, just glowing.
You look parched, though. I think you need something to be quenched.
No shit.
So it is an iOS-based application. Don't watch it on your phone. Just don't be that guy. It's on the Apple TV. It's on that, and that's where you should go ahead and watch this. And what's great is that you'll finish a scene, and they're about 30 minutes, right? Or 20 to 30 minutes each episode, I put in quotes. And they do these beautiful transitions into, okay, now choose which perspective you want to go with. My wife and I, we chose to kind of follow one character's arc for a little bit and then go back and then see it from another person's point of view. There are these other interactive like PDFs and sub stories, which can kind of give you a little bit more background and a little different perspective while you're in the middle of someone else's story. But I just went straight through with following someone's perspective, then going back, seeing another. And I'll tell you, man, you follow one person's perspective and you're just like, I know that other character inside of that. We got it. That guy's the bad guy. And then you watch their perspective, like, holy shit, what a misunderstood bastard. I can't believe that everyone's treating him so badly. So it's really good. And then the ending I felt was pretty satisfying. And again, depending on which perspective, you actually get the same ending. It's just which perspective do you get the ending from. So like the facts are still the same.
Really interesting.
It is less choose your own adventure than we initially thought it was. Thank God.
Wait, CJ, you still talking? I know. I was reading an article that's super interesting about how many football players get injured on Thursday night games. It was very interesting. Were you saying something?
If anyone needs a knife, I have one in my back, and I will send it to you, care of Josh Burns. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the show that we talk about the world of comics, how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk. It's no longer affecting me?
It's affecting everybody. It's affecting the listener. The listeners...
It's affecting me more than anybody.
Fine. Brian, we talked a few weeks ago about Zachary Levi taking on the role of Shazam.
Yes, we did.
I said that there is a little bit of Captain... It was also known as Captain Marvel, but they're not allowed to use it as Captain Marvel. He's kind of like Superman, but he's not like Superman at all. Can you just give us the cliff note, the Comic 101 about just who Shazam is and why this is important? Would you like me to tell you what I know, and then you can either correct me or just
I would love to hear what you think you know.
So it is a young kid who has inherited the powers that if he says the magic word Shazam, he gets transformed into a grown adult superhero, which basically has the powers of like Hercules and Zeus and a couple other fantastic Greek mythology creatures. He's kind of like a Superman-esque character in super strength. He can kind of fly, and he's very charismatic. And then I know that his nemesis is, or maybe one villain is Black Adam, which will be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's all I know.
You're kind of on the ball there.
And that he was known as Captain Marvel, and then
he was known as Captain Marvel back in the 40s. And DC doesn't own the rights to say the word Marvel. So he's primarily known as Shazam.
Good.
But yeah, he is a young boy who gets imbued with the powers of six Greek gods. So he has like the might of Hercules, the lightning of Zeus, the speed of Mercury, and Ares, a couple of others.
Ares and
they all actually, all the Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon, they all actually spell out Shazam. Yeah. One of his villains is Black Adam. From what I understand, Black Adam will not be showing up in the Shazam movie.
Correct.
He will actually show up in Suicide Squad 2.
Allegedly.
But yes, kind of on the board, on the ball there. Congratulations, CJ. You knew stuff.
Huzzah, I did research and it paid off. So here's the question. Zachary Levi as a casting choice. We all love him from Chuck. Is this the right call for Shazam?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, and knowing full well the answer is a hell yeah, because Zachary Levi is Zachary Levi, and shut your goddamn mouth if you think otherwise. But I just want to make sure you are approving
No,
of this guess.
I love Zachary Levi. Here's the thing about Shazam. When he is an adult, he is still a kid mentally.
Right.
I think Zachary Levi can pull that off beautifully.
And
Really
they just
well,
killed him
yeah.
off in the Thor Ragnarok. Oh, that's a spoiler. My bad. But anyway, he's dead.
What?
They killed Zachary Levi.
Oh yeah, they
in
killed
Thor
off.
Ragnarok.
They killed off the Warriors 3 in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of one.
Well, Asgard pretty much is dead. Anyway, yeah, Zachary Levi, can play that kind of 8-year-old trapped in an adult's body who's trying to do the right thing. He could totally do that. We have all seen it because he's done it in Chuck for 5 years. I think it's a perfect casting choice. I think he puts on a couple pounds of muscle. He'll look the part, and I'm super excited. It's going to be awesome.
All right.
I've never thought for a second that I would A, see a Shazam movie, and B, actually be excited for it. And I am excited for this. The moment they announced Zachary Levi, I'm like, yes.
Yep. Sign me up.
Shut up and take my money. I'm there.
Don't screw this up, DC. We're very happy for you. All right. Well, that's it. It was very quick. I just wanted to get your perspective on Shazam because that is the end of Cape Talk. But as we all know, I love to go around the internet. I love to find the weird. I like to find the obscure, and then like to ask for a tech perspective. It's been a few weeks. Stretch it out. Oh, that's it? Okay, great. So it's like you're waiting to interrupt me every week. Anyway. Hey, you guys remember this little company that made this tiny application that was kind of like a blip on everyone's radar in the summer? It was called Niantic, right? No name company. They made this Pokémon Go game. I don't know. It may have been a big craze. Josh Burns, are you ready? They have officially announced that they are going to be creating a Harry Potter AR game launching in 2018.
Sure. Sign me up for the summer.
So here, exactly right. So here is my question. Is it going to be a Fantastic Beast and where to find them kind of thing? Or are we actually going to be able to fight each other as freaking wizards? Because if they promise me dueling and I don't get dueling, I'm mad.
They didn't figure out dueling. You're still not going to be able to duel. Not in real time, at least. It's just not. It's going to be cool for a few months, and then it's going to die off. I'll spend $100 on it, and then that'll be the end of it.
Brian, what about you? What do you think about Niantic making a Harry Potter app?
I think this is a great idea. If they freaking could have just, I don't know. Okay, no. All right, I wanted to make a really sly joke, but I can't because this is a fucking awful idea. Just make Pokemon Go better. Give me the shit that you promised me. Don't start working on another app and promising me different shit from that
Harry
other
Potter's
app.
better than Pokemon.
I don't give a shit which one is better than the other. They released a half-done game and have never figured it out.
Right.
And now you're going to release another game, probably half-done,
with another very popular property.
And you'll get the initial surge for the 4 months that Pokemon Go got, and then it'll die off again because it's not going to be good. This is a terrible game. A terrible idea. Just fucking take the money and the people and figure out how to give me trading and dueling in Pokemon Go, and then you can work on another game.
Wishful thinking. You have our thoughts.
I am in the same camp. You messed up Pokemon, and it was a thing that you told us you could do. You said dueling, you said trading. We didn't get that. So screw you. Please don't fuck up Harry Potter. That's my only thing I have to think about. So,
well, they're not going to ruin the brand.
Not the brand.
This.
I mean, the game. You can't ruin the brand Harry Potter. I mean, well, that's maybe not true.
Challenge accepted, sir. I'm actually writing the next Fantastic Beasts and where to find them just to try and do that.
As long as Fox doesn't get it, we're fine. All right. The next bit of tech perspective is I just got to know if this has affected you guys as much as it's affected the rest of the internet. If you have an iPhone, and this is a time where we can totally make fun of Apple, apparently machine learning was not their forte, and they kept replacing the letter I, if you ever typed out I, with A, and then a question mark in a box. like Unicode going, I don't know what this is. And you can read everyone's fantastic Facebook posts and Instagram posts and Twitter posts with the misspelling. I want to know if you guys actually got hit by that. Josh, I know you have the iPhone 10, so I just didn't know if it actually got off to you.
I've been on 11.2 since.
Oh, you've been beta.
I'm beta, so no.
But it still was an issue because they had to put out a beta fix to fix it. But okay, didn't get you because hashtag beta. Brian, is this something that hit you?
You know what's funny? You sent that to me and said, "Hey, are you having issues with this?" And I was like, "No," because I don't know why, but like it would let me type I and it wouldn't automatically autocorrect it because I don't know, maybe my phone realizes that it
doesn't autocorrect it. It just shows up in the sent.
No,
message.
it's autocorrecting too.
See, it wouldn't autocorrect it for me.
No,
like I would
seen
type
that.
an I and in the suggestions it would be like, "Did you mean a question mark?" And I was like, "No," but I would just hit space and it would still be fine. And that was in text messages. So I was fine. And then 2 days ago, I went to type out an email from my phone for work, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
back. All right, and then like I had to hit I, and then I had to hit like the actual like box that makes you choose the wrong spelling of a word, and I clicked that, and I was like, this is so it affected me very minor.
My favorite thing right now
Then I updated last night, and now it's fixed.
They put on an update, iOS 11.1.1, so enjoy that, which fixes that issue as well as another thing. But here's the great part is you can see the people who have not upgraded their phones.
Yeah.
So you can just be the advocate for, hey, idiot, yeah, just go to settings and do the update, please. Just do that, and you'll be happy. Oh, okay, no problem. So it's good to know that it was an easy patch and something that you can fix, and because the system isn't fragmented, fixes all the phones instead of just maybe one and running through the carrier. But hey, whatever, to each his own. Apple screwed up, but at least they fixed it. So if you are having that issue, it is not just you, and download the new update to iOS, and it will fix it. Huzzah! All right, there is a comedian that I like. His name is James Veitch. And he made a fantastic little comedy bit about replying to scam emails and just taking them for a ride and just having a lot of fun with them. And scam emails are perhaps the worst thing you could possibly get on the internet. But now there is a chatbot and a company that's going to fix this issue for you. The company NetSafe has an easy solution. If you ever get a dodgy email in your inbox, just forward it to me at rescam.org. It will then create a proxy email account and start replying to the scammer for you, wasting their time with a fantastic chatbot that will just ask them ridiculous questions until they get frustrated and just give up and throw their hands up in frustration. Yes, the internet needs more of this. Give me these amazing tools. This is awesome. Screw you, scammers. So very curious to get your tech perspective on re-scamming a scammer.
Seems like a lot of work.
I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, I would just delete scam email.
A lot of work. You just press forward and say me at rescam.org.
No, I don't care enough. I mean, I will say this. I've been corresponding with this Nigerian prince for the past couple of months. It's been going really well.
Is he coming stateside soon?
He is. He's coming in in the next couple of weeks. He was supposed to come last month, but his things got delayed. And obviously he's a prince. He's got stuff to do. But
super busy.
He's super busy. But I mean, when he comes here, he's gonna give me twice the amount that I gave him 2 months ago. So I'm very excited for it.
Solid. That's good.
I don't get how it's too much work. That's the part that boggles my mind. You're just forwarding an email instead of just swiping it.
But I just ignore it.
Yeah. It's called a delete button.
You of all people don't want to fuck with them? It's the thing that gets me. How do you not want to fuck with a scammer?
I look at this shit and I go, I can't believe people are this fucking stupid. Delete.
Well, if you are interested in this topic, you can go to our show notes right there, and there's a link to an article that explains the rescam, and this chatbot is fantastic. It also has a link to a great video for basically doing this for phones, and it's called Lenny Calls. They're hilarious. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole watching those. It's fantastic, and someone who's worked that kind of job before, it's sweet vengeance to the assholes of that community. So definitely go ahead and check out the show notes. It's definitely worth a read. All right, it is now time for the Nerd Degree. The Nerd Degree is where that kind of nerd gives a topic, a product, a movie, whatever, the third degree, and we decide if it passes or fails.
We have yet to do a movie for Nerd Degree, just FYI.
We could do it one day, who knows? So Josh, this topic was actually suggested by you. and that is that the Royal Caribbean is making a high-tech ship that lets you be lazier than ever. I love the headline. It reminds me of WALL-E. Why don't you explain to me exactly what is going on, and we can go ahead and give this the nerd degree.
Well, it's a cruise ship that is basically centered in VR, right? Everything's VR. You can app control everything, stuff brought to you, not, you know what I mean? Based on location. I put it up there because I was like, I'm never getting on a cruise ship. So this is already a bad idea, but yeah, for the people that get on there, great. I mean, you don't have to walk anywhere. There's self-driving shuttles. There's some sort of a Face ID.
Yeah, so from what I read from it, I'll have the link in the show notes. They're going to make basically these high-tech cruise ships where VR is part of it, but not necessarily the whole driving thing. But it does start with the fact that to get to the cruise ship, you actually get into those driverless buses. Now, ironically enough, this is the same bus that just was in a fender bender in Las Vegas 20 minutes after it started actually being operational. Yeah, so I mean, what's cool about this whole experience is that it's kind of taking technology and putting it in a weird place that maybe you don't necessarily think it belongs, like a cruise ship. And having like a dessert VR experience, I think it's a pretty cool application. But the rest of it is about like you order everything from your phone. They will go ahead and you have Wi-Fi hotspots so they kind of know where you are. So you just order something, bam, they show up. Facial recognition to let you into your room. That stuff's a little neat. I don't think it's ready for prime time, obviously, but I think it's a pretty cool and unique idea.
Yeah, super helpful so that when you board the ship and immediately get a stomach flu, you can order whatever you need right to your room.
The doctor knows where you are when you're just curled up in a small ball in the fetal position on the bathroom floor going, oh, God, I want to die.
Right, with liquid spewing out of every orifice.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Ryan, what about you? What do you think about like a VR kind of or even just highly technological built ship that looks like WALL-E?
Everything you just said is stupid. It's all stupid. If I'm going to go on vacation, there is a certain amount of physical activity I am committing to doing for vacation. That's part of being on vacation. If I want to lay down,
the whole thing of a cruise ship is like eat as much and drink as much as you want because fuck
yeah,
it.
great. But I know when I sign up for a cruise that I will have to walk to my room, walk to the buffet, then walk back to my room. That's how this works. If you don't want to do that, take a staycation and stay on your couch all goddamn day and order Chinese takeout. I don't know what the hell this is all dumb. All of this is dumb.
The thing that was extremely stupid that like I know everyone was like that's fucking dumb is no windows in your cabin, a fake balcony, and then like the scenery is like a tranquil ocean, or it could be the jungle or the
You're
night stars.
on the ocean.
Yes, like just give me a window. I'm good. I get it. That's peaceful enough. I don't.
Why do you need to simulate tranquility? I'm on the ocean.
No, or the other part is, hey, I really don't get I don't get a window. Like I don't get any windows because I got a screen. Like what are you doing?
I'll just lock my door. I'll put on Netflix and I'll just stay in bed all fucking day if that's the case.
And we all know, right? Technology behaves exactly the way it's supposed to, with never a glitch or issue.
Right. So, that's the big problem.
So when your screen breaks and you realize, oh God, there's no window, and you're like, oh shit, you're now instantly claustrophobic. Okay. So obviously, for the nerd degree, we have a standard unit measure when it comes to our ratings, and it is the smell of Yankee candles. Josh, you believe this is a terrible idea.
As a Yankee candle, this one is body odor.
I say, obviously, this is wet dog. Brian?
Wet dog.
Wet dog. Wet dog.
I'm trying to think of the worst possible smell I could think of for my Yankee candle this week. And I am, there is some sort of vomit involved in it. Vomiting on a wet dog. That's what this smells like.
Oh, it's animal abuse. How dare you? But listen,
because it forces the wet dog to then vomit.
Right. So now you have
and then
my
you
vomit on
because
top
the
of
dog
wet
vomited.
dog on top of wet dog vomit.
So here's what happens: is you vomit on the wet dog vomits, then the dog eats its own vomit, then you vomit again because the dog is vomiting.
That's the problem, because the dog ate its own sick.
Perpetual circle of puking.
I like to call this smell perpetual sickness. That's how good an idea this is. You know that scene in Family Guy where they all eat that stuff?
I don't want it.
Yeah. No, please don't.
That's the smell.
Stop. Okay,
That's
we got
what it is.
All right, great.
Right there.
Fantastic.
That's what it is.
Okay, all right, good.
All right.
That is not how I want to leave people with this show.
That is their standard unit of measure.
That is the standard unit of measure is disgusting Yankee Candle. I didn't think the Family Guy bit was
You're welcome.
ugh. Anyone have a palate cleanser? Just real quick, just something happy we could talk about at all? Just anything at all that could just cleanse that palate?
Nope. Time to wrap the show.
Yes.
Well, hey, I will say this before we wrap the show. I am going to go back on the escalator again, Josh. I'm going to go see Murder on the Orient Express this weekend.
Ooh, I want to see that.
Yeah, so
Enjoy
I can't wait to talk about it.
Who's that person? Who's the person?
Oh,
who's
what's her name?
What's her name? Judi Dench. That's
Kenneth
right.
Branagh,
Judi Dench
right.
is in it.
Daisy Dukes.
Daisy Dukes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the nerdy world this week. We want to thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work. But the conversation doesn't stop here. We definitely want to hear from you. Tell us what you think about some of these topics. I'd love to hear if anyone did get to watch Mosaic, and I'm not alone in this endeavor. You can always find us on Facebook by searching That Kind of Nerd, on Twitter at That Kind of Nerd, and on Instagram at That Kind of Nerd Podcast. And again, if you know the person who has That Kind of Nerd on Instagram, you get us in contact with him because I want that handle.
Still not funny.
That's funny. It's a legitimate plea for help. I want the goddamn handle. I can't deal with the lack of continuity that we can't just be that kind of nerd across all the social media brands. It's bothering the hell out of me. Anyway, thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood, your drive to work, and we will see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show, I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd, and Apple versus Android is a case to be heard, and that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, 'cause you are that kind of nerd.
I would like to start this episode with a Warner. We are going to be with a Warner. Yep, a Warner brother too.
With a
and
Warner
sister Dot.
I am looking at you.
I'm the captain now. I'm the captain.
You're never the captain.
I'm the captain.
Let's face it. You're never the captain.
Oh, okay. Then you, sir, if you would like to be captain, I would love for you to intro this show. Go ahead.
No. You moderate. I captain.
Yeah, there you go.
As a Yankee Candle, this one is banana flavored.
Yankee Candle. What's banana flavored?
Yep.
Is there a banana flavored Yankee Candle?
I'm sure there is.
I don't know, but that's what this is. As a Yankee Candle, this is clove and gingerbread spice. Awful.
So okay. All right.
As a Yankee Candle, this one is pumpkin.